Page 14, the call of the horn. Looks like a French horn or a mountain horn, something. Okay, let's look it over. It's 4 lines long, but it has a repeat sign, and there's a note at the bottom. You're going to play it longer, so it's going to be longer than 4 lines. Treble and bass clef, 4/4 time signature, so we're counting to 4. We're still counting quarter notes. So if I look it over, I see there's half notes and quarter notes and whole notes. Okay, I think we can do all that. You're playing both hands together again. So in that case, I want to take one hand at a time and make sure I know what each hand is doing before I try and put them together. I'll start with the right hand. Third measure, your thumb on C. We're in C position, so it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. So I just make sure I can play all the notes, and I connect everything right now. I'm just working on notes and rhythms and fingerings. Fingerings aren't bad because you're not moving around yet. You're just sticking put. Left hand starting here in C position. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and the second line, we're 2 notes at a time. We have a D and a G here, 2, and you don't need the 1, 4. You're in C position, you're going to use the fingers that are on those notes, and it just happens to be 1 and 4. 2, and then the next one is an E and a G. 3, 4. Try and get them down at the same time. I'm just lowering the hand down, and the weight is on those fingers, whichever fingers are down. And third line, you have a G, and that's tied for 2 measures, so you're going to hold that down forever, or 8 counts, whichever comes first, then play it again. Same thing, tied for 2 measures, and then the last line, it's not tied anymore. You play it every 4 beats. Okay, put the hands together. Well, the first line is 1 hand at a time, so let's start with the second line when they're actually playing at the same time. You're here, and we have here and here playing. And a lot of times when I put the hands together, I'm going to hesitate. It doesn't matter at this point. You're just trying to understand which fingers are going down at the same time. So I'm here, start, and then I go, and then I'm here. These, and then I here, and then here, and then here. So I've got those. And the third line, you're just doing G in the left hand. You get the idea? Okay. Last measure. That's a G. Hold on. The right hand is you're doing this. Okay. So your hands are doing different things. Now, once I got an idea what the hands are doing, then I go back through it a few hundred times or whatever it takes and slowly work out the hesitations. So it's a steady beat. I can go slow, it doesn't matter what the speed is, but it's got to be a steady beat, no hesitations anywhere. It's important. Once I have that, then I think about the articulation. They don't give you much. In the second line, there's a phrase. You can lift up before and after that. So at the end of the first line, you're going to lift up before you start it. Just lift up. It's like taking a breath. And at the end of the line, if you go to the third line, you lift up. If you repeat, you don't have to worry about it because the left hand's playing. But just lift up before and after it. Then in the last measure, the left hand is slur line. It's not a phrase, that's a slur. You see, that's another thing the curve line can be used for. You gotta love it. You're just connecting these. You see, if they don't give you anything, they don't give you any slur line or anything, you can do anything you want. I could disconnect those. The same thing in the first line. They don't give me anything in the first line. I could disconnect all those notes if I wanted to. But then when they give you the slur line, now you got to connect them. So you have options. That gets into interpreting the music. Now, once I have an idea of the articulation, then I go back and add the dynamics. You see an F-P at the beginning. F is forte, P is piano. They don't get along very well. Well, it's okay because you're only going to do one at a time. You see, a repeat sign at the end of the second line means you're going to play the first 2 lines twice. Well, the first time you play it loud, whatever you think loud is. And then when you repeat it, you play it soft. Well, that's a bit of a challenge. because in the second line, the melody's in the upper staff, and the dynamic given applies to the melody. So the first time it's loud, in the second line here, the first time I play it, it's going to be loud. Well, that's okay, because I can play this softly and get away with it. So this is soft, and this is... But the second time I play it, I'm soft here. This means the left hand's got to be super soft. How light can you play that? Huh? Because we want to hear the melody. We don't want to hear the background singers. They got to be in the background. Now, the third line, you're loud again, and that's the melody. Keep this light. And you're loud for the last two lines. All right. Now, as far as the roadmap goes, when do we go where? I've already mentioned that repeat sign at the end of the second line, so you're going to play the first two lines twice. Then you go down and you do the last two lines. Well, there's a note underneath at the bottom to go back and play the first two lines again with the same F-P dynamics. So you go back up and you play the first two lines twice again. So it's considerably longer than it looks. Now, as far as the speed goes, well, think majestic. Think something very majestic, very proud, here people are coming in or whatever. I don't know, just majestic. That's a little too fast for majestic? I don't know. How do you feel it? A few more cups of coffee? I could probably feel majestic a lot faster than that. I don't know. We'll see. I do want to mention at the bottom on the slur here, when you go back to the top, connect it. Connect it. Here. Because, again, it gets into interpreting the music. These notes at the bottom lead into something. You know, they don't stand by themselves. They're preparing something. And most of the time when you lead into something, you'll connect it. You're not going to lead into it and then suddenly disconnect it. No, it's rather unmusical to do that. There's exceptions to that, but in most cases, you're going to connect it. So connect it to the top. Connect all that together. Let's play this together very slowly and double check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do any dynamics, just notes and rhythms. That's all we're doing here. But I am going to do the repeat, and I'm going to do the last two lines like it says. So we're going to do the whole thing, just not doing dynamics. So we're going to go really slow. I'll give us 4 counts. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2. 1, 2. 3, repeat. 2, 1, 2. 2, 2. to the top, 2, 2, 2, 3, repeat.